Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Police find a homegrown marijuana operation, find out how many suspects they've got in custody.
A family and friends of Eugene Woodside say their final goodbyes.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, our neighborhoods are under siege. That's according to National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who spoke to the family and friends of 8-year-old Eugene Woodside. Today, his parents had the heartbreaking task of burying their only son, whose life was cut short by a gunman. And as April Sands tells us, the child's family and friends packed their place of worship today to celebrate his life.
It's a saying that we all try to live by. A parent should never have to bury their child. And sadly, that wasn't the case for Kendera Woodside and Antonio Woodside, saying their final goodbyes to their 8-year-old son. Those who got to know and love Eugene Woodside during his short 8 years on earth packed Holy Trinity AME Zion Baptist Church today to bid a final farewell to the little boy who was taken from his family way too soon. Among those attending the somber service were Eugene's classmates from Albury Sale Primary School. Mourners spilled outside the small church on Fire Trail Road, standing under tents. Eugene's teacher barely making out the words to describe just how much of an impact the little boy had on her and his classmates.
Among every set of good work displayed in the classroom, Eugene's paper could be found. He was the kind of student that a teacher wishes his or her class to be filled with, cooperative and highly involved. Immediately, I missed his early arrival and eager assistance in preparing the room for the day ahead. He held all the qualities necessary to become a wholesome man and productive citizen. And so yes, we can term his death as premature, but we can, without reservation, declare that his life was indeed remarkable.
Police say Eugene was inside his Rosebud Street home doing schoolwork last month when a gunman chased another man into the Woodside family's yard. One of the bullets pierced the wall of the family's home, hitting the 8-year-old boy. Port Charlotte MP Mark Hume says Eugene is one of 3 constituents he has had the misfortune of saying farewell to due to gun violence.
I remember when I was growing up, at the age of most of the young kids in here, only the elderly died. I barely remembered, in all my years, I don't ever remember going to a young person's funeral. But it seems like today, when you open up the obituary, there are more young dying than the elderly. It seems like death has become an epidemic, and it's taking most of our young. In the short time I've been the Member of Parliament, this will be the 3rd time that I will be bringing remarks at the homegoing service for a young male member of my community.
Minister of National Security Marvin Dames, who was also in attendance, said there is still beauty in Eugene's short life.
What the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. Today we grieve the loss of 8 years of innocence. We grieve a life gone too soon. The life of little Eugene Antonio Woodside. Despite the occurrence of death every day, each time death takes our loved ones, we are overcome by grief and pain. Our neighborhoods are under siege by our children, who in their attempt to spread their poison in the form of dangerous drugs and spread their terror with firearms. Their anger have blinded them to the fact that they are killing their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, and friends.
Reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
Thanks, April. Drug Enforcement Unit officers discovered a marijuana field just a short distance from their Thompson Boulevard headquarters. Today, police have arrested 3 people, including 1 woman, in connection with this major drug bust. Jared Higgs has the details.
Don't be fooled by this quaint-looking home on Portugal Road, less than a mile away from DEU headquarters. In the backyard, police say a well-hidden marijuana growing operation has been flourishing for months, possibly years. Superintendent Christopher Minus of the Drug Enforcement Unit says his squad descended on the home after receiving a tip.
Upon arrival to this white structure trimmed brown, the team came in the rear. Immediately upon entering the area, we smelled a strong aroma of marijuana. A search was made, and about 70 to 100 of these marijuana plants were found. Shortly afterwards, a check was made of the structure. We found 3 persons in there who was assisting the police in this matter.
Officers weren't able to say how much the approximately 100 plants were worth because they ranged in size from 2 to 8 feet. Whatever the street value, it was a sophisticated operation featuring a small shed to dry fully grown plants.
It appears to us that the operation may have been going on for quite some time, and it's a good thing that a member of the public would have contacted us so we can take the situation down.
Now, if you take a look around the yard, you can see that it's quite overgrown. Police say that was meant to disguise the operation from the ground and from the sky.
They do that to camouflage the growth process. So when I took your team in the rear, you see in the nursery area, all the bushes are grown around the small seedlings. As they grow bigger, they tend to grow okra and tall trees around it to camouflage. So if someone walks in the back there, it looks like a regular tree.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
Former Environment Minister Ken Dorset was back in court today. However, Supreme Court Justice Carolina Bethel adjourned the matter to November. Dorset is accused of bribing and extorting a man of $120,000 while serving as a public official. It is anticipated that a start date for his trial would be set upon his return to court on Friday, November 10th. In other news, Rector of St. Agnes Anglican Parish, Father I. Renfrewly Brown, is urging church leaders to stay out of the reignited debate over a national lottery in the Bahamas. He insisted that gaming is something that should not concern them, adding their focus should be elsewhere. It doesn't concern you, so stay out. Words from St. Agnes Anglican Church Rector I. Renfrewly Brown as the discussion over whether there should be a national lottery in the Bahamas resurfaces.
The problem I have with the churches is that they condemn lotteries and number places when you need to deal with your membership. If you deal with your membership, you don't have to worry about the number houses, and you don't have to worry about the lottery and stuff.
Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar, who has ministerial responsibility for gaming, has said he will work towards making a national lottery in the Bahamas a reality. Bahamas Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernandez said he was shocked that another government minister has come out in support of the creation of a Bahamas national lottery. He said the council expected the minister administration to either tighten the existing legislation or repeal the law. The Christian Council had campaigned against the previous government's plans to establish a national lottery. However, Brown says their focus shouldn't be on gaming.
Teach your members how to trust God, a God who provides all the time for his people, and stop knocking these places and stuff, because you don't have to go there. Christians ain't have to go there. So we preachers need to deal with our people. All right?
Brown has never been one to mince his words. He said he's not attacking anyone in the church, but feels church leaders are sticking their noses in issues that don't concern them.
Train the child the way it should go, and when it's old, it will not depart. All right? If I want my children not to engage themselves in it, I teach them the value system and cause them to realize how they ought to be doing things in their lives. All right? There would be no carnival if church people don't go to it.
He went further, saying religious leaders must focus on their congregation and get to know their members rather than coming down on web shop operators and their establishments.
I grew up right in the backyard, Hospital Lane and West Street, all right? And the number system was going on through there, and I never buy a number in my life because of my discipline, all right? So don't attack these institutions when you ought to deal with Christian witness and Christian living And that's what we need to promote.
October is observed as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Cable Bahamas has teamed up with Sunshine Insurance Limited to highlight courageous women who have defeated breast cancer. Tonight, our Jasmine Brown introduces you to a young mother who at just 32 tested positive for the breast cancer gene.
Rika Cargill found out that she had breast cancer after giving birth to her son.
I felt a burning, stinging sensation, and I had a lot of swelling. And the pain was excruciating. And I went to the doctor several times to have a check, but they told me that I had an infection. And then when I went back, they told me I had a blocked milk duct. And what they did was, one of the surgeons, they actually cut me without doing a biopsy. And that sped up the process of the cancer spreading. So I was diagnosed then with stage 3, going on stage 4 cancer.
It was a diagnosis that changed her life, but the news wasn't exactly shocking for Cargill, as cancer runs in her family. Both her mother and grandmother passed away from cancer half a decade ago.
About 2 years after that, my mother's sister, and a year after that, another sister. So it is hereditary.
Cargill herself tested positive for the BRCA1 gene.
I did the testing, well, actually, yes, I did the testing right after I was diagnosed. Right after they, when I went to oncology, they asked me, that's when it was free, and they asked me if I would like to do the test to find out if it was hereditary or in my genes, and I said yes, and the test came back positive. For me, I needed to know, because I have a daughter also who's 18 years old, because I wanted to know, if it's in my blood, then that means it will go on down the line.
The Bahamas ranks highest in the world for prevalence of certain genetic mutations related to breast. Researchers believe the gene mutation related to breast cancer, seen in 27% of Bahamian breast cancer patients, is likely caused by the country's shallow gene pool and small population. 50 to 85% of women with the gene mutation are at risk of developing breast cancer, while 20 to 40% of such women are at risk of developing ovarian cancer. Today, the 37-year-old mother of 3 is cancer-free, and her mission is to make people more aware of the disease.
I would like to say to everyone out there, male and female, be aware of your body. You are what you put into your body. You need to change your lifestyle, change the way you think, the way you eat, change the way you exercise. All of this is a help to the way we live. You understand me? So, like, if you know that your body is changing, if you feel changes, go again and get yourself tested.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Still to come on our news, the fate of new immigration recruits up in the air, plus how one school is helping to raise breast cancer awareness. Stay with us.